I know that you've been to a basketball thing. You look much.
Way better.
You look.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't good for a while. But I feel a lot better. I feel great. Good energy. Had a couple days off and ready to get back to work.
Yeah, and then I asked that to then segue into the health of your team, which seems to be kind of the thing.
Yeah.
I think it was Kim after the last game. He noted that you guys had 8 healthy scholarship players. So where are you at now?
We'll know today. Braxton's ankle was pretty big. We'll see if he can do anything today. Corin, day to day. Frank supposedly is supposed to do some 5-on-0 stuff on the court today with the team.
I don't believe that.
You know what? Until I see it too, I'm be the same thing. Yeah. So we'll know a lot today. It's a good time to have time to try to get healthy.
With that corn deal and the shoulder, will that not require some type of surgery? Because
I don't think so.
Okay.
I haven't got an update today, but I'm under the impression no.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And is that something that you're thinking is sooner than later? Because again, with shoulders like that, I don't know. Can you come back in a week? Those things seem to be like weeks.
I guess it all goes back to, for years, his thing was, it would come out, and push back in, come back out, push back in, be able to play with it. And then you try to repair it so it doesn't come out all the time. But, he was in good spirits. Yesterday, we obviously didn't practice, but he was in good spirits thinking that he wants to play. So we'll see him practice today.
And again, it is the same one that he had this
Yes.
procedure on
Yes.
after high school again.
So you had noted that it was nice to have some time off so you guys can get healthier and stuff, but after the way you guys played against Utah, one of the better games you got, complete games you guys have
Yeah.
played. Does it kind of stink that you didn't get to get right back out and play, or?
Well, we didn't have a lot of bodies, so that's what I was really. The thing that made me happy about our team was it's hard to sustain a lead, and when Braxton went out, in the first half, you're like, ooh, can we sustain it? And the guys, they did, and actually built on it, which I thought was a really good sign. But we need some bigs, we need that depth there, and so hopefully Braxton feels good. Can come back. He started having some really good moments, especially on the offensive end, and his size makes a big difference. Washington State plays a lot of, they go inside a lot more than they have. No worries. But they go inside a lot more than they have in the past, and they've got really good big guys who are really good on the glass. We're going to need that depth and that size down low for sure in this game.
So, and then can you kind of just compare and contrast what you guys were able to do against Utah that maybe you weren't able to do against Colorado? That's a question from Kim, by the way.
Yeah, you know what? I thought, we did a lot more trapping. We did a lot more disruptive stuff on the defensive end. We made some shots. We gave up 98, and then we scored 98. And when it seemed like in the Colorado game, we just couldn't get any momentum. Get a situation where you put some game pressure on them, get the crowd involved, and you can get over the hump. We never got to that. I think from the opening tip of the Utah game, we had good collective energy right from the get-go. We were disruptive, we were competing, and we were playing exceptionally hard. And so, if we can do that, we should have a chance to win every game we play. That was the message to the guys, and you could feel it. You could feel good energy.
Is it possible to use that game, though, as a template for the rest of the year? Because it seemed that in that one, that you really targeted an area, basically Carlson, took him out the game, which was really, in hindsight, kind of masterful, great.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it the first time? But can you replicate that going forward? Because I'm not sure if other teams necessarily have a focal point that you can say, oh, well, just take them out.
Well, same as Utah. I think they were more surprised than anything. We haven't shown any of those defenses, and so that was part of it. we've got to be able to be creative in ways to disrupt. And, this is the first year where since I've been here, we usually lead the league in takeaways, blocks and steals and disruption. And, we need to find ways to do that a little bit more. But they executed the game plan. It wasn't perfect. We still have to get better. But when you make shots, Paulie offensively was at a different level. Moses is starting to be really consistent with his three-point shot. KB really consistent with his three-point shot. Saw is just, it's hard to keep in front, which creates havoc for the opposing team. Wilhelm, everybody I thought in that game kind of did what they did when they did what they did well, and that's what you need. And now we just need that depth, that size, and hopefully we get some of these bodies back and start putting together some really good games.
10 games left in the regular season. How are you guys different from the start of the year? What type of growth have you made? And what would you like to see for these last 2 games?
I think we were playing really well. We had a couple really good wins early, and just like last year, Frank goes down, and so you're adapting. Probably your best defensive player, energy. So you adapted. We didn't play really well. We won some games, but really close games. Seattle U, Eastern Washington. You had break. You went down to Colorado. I thought we played well enough to win. We put ourselves in position. We couldn't get stops down the stretch. That's where we've kind of, with the missing that Frank piece. Paulie got injured, so it wasn't the same guy. And so I would say, there's so many ebbs and flows during the season where teams play really well early or they really play really well in the middle. And then, you want to play your best basketball near the end. And I feel like, where are we? I felt like Utah was a good first step. Now it's the consistency part of it, and then get some of these other pieces healthy. And, no telling what we could do when healthy. Injuries are a part of the game. You just got to be able to adapt. You look at Dana, at Oregon, they had a lot of close games, maybe some losses early, but boy, they adapted and they started playing really well, and then they start adding pieces. So that's also another element of the season. But we needed a spark. We needed a good game. We needed to play well against a really good team, and we did. And now we just got to, we've proven that we can do it, and now we just have to be consistent with it.
When you picked up Wilhelm from the portal, you were bringing him in. He's your third big guy. Obviously you're waiting on Frank. Did you see him playing the amount of minutes that he's playing, and just talk about what you've gotten from him in this stretch? Well,
we didn't recruit him out of high school, but he went to my high school, so I saw him a lot, and he was a guy that, he always just won. He always made plays. He always played tough. We liked him because he could be your third center, but also be a forward because he can shoot the ball. He's got good size, got good IQ. From the beginning, Frank didn't play, and so when we were in Europe, you could tell what we had. He was, we were switching defenses. He had IQ, he switched, tough, made shots. And so we knew right away. We played without Frank for a long period of the preseason, without him. And, Wilhelm was always performed, He was a light heavyweight fighting heavyweight in there, but he, his heart is, he's got Rocky Balboa heart, the way that he plays.
How much would you need of Frank to be confident that he could go back out there in a game?
I think it's all, that's such a personal thing for him, when you're talking about your knees, your feet, the things that have to be kind of grounded and, work their way up. You just want him to be really confident. Frank knows one way to play. He does not know. He doesn't have a pause button. He doesn't have, it's 110% that way. There's, I wish he could turn it on and off. He just doesn't know how to. And so, you want him to be him. You don't want him to be 75% Frank. You got to have 110% Frank. And so we'll see how he is. We'll see how he is today in practice and see how he moves. But it's the positive sign is that he's doing it today. And so.
Didn't Braxton last year have an ankle and he came back fairly quick?
Percy, we played. We were going to play Oregon State, and he sprained his ankle last 10 minutes of practice. So he was in a boot, didn't play, and that's when Frank blew out his knee.
And then he came back the next week.
Then he played against Colorado, and he played really well. And so, yeah, Braxton's pretty tough. He's got a pretty good pain tolerance, and having that size down low is huge for us, especially, in our league and what's coming up.
Just your thoughts on Washington State. I mean, I'm good. I didn't see this. I mean, like so many college teams, they turned over that roster. They totally flipped it. And if you're not one of their sort of followers or whatever, you literally have to kind of go through and say, okay, who's here and where's it?
Yeah.
Just what do you think of the job that Kyle has done?
He's done an amazing job, and I think they have, like Miles Rice is one of the great stories in college basketball. To overcome, cancer, and it's funny. Well, it's not funny, but you hear him. He's like, rookie of the year. He's been there a couple of years. He's been in our system, but it's one of those feel good that you root for. And then Isaac Jones is playing at a all, league caliber Washington kid, pretty high level. We all know Jakumovsky. I've seen him for 5 years. It's kind of like when Rodman played. He can shoot it. He's tough. Donald Watts' son, Isaiah. It's fun to watch him. He's really coming on strong for them. They've done a really good job recruiting. They always have. Last year's roster was as good a roster that there was in the league, and they coach. They're playing a lot of our zone, or when I say our zone, a lot of zone defense. But they found a way, and that's what good coaching does. And they've found their way. They're playing as good as anybody in the league. Miles Rice is as good as any point guard in the league. Isaac Jones is as good as any forward in the league. They've got good big guys. Clough reminds me, some of the coaches talked about like Sam Timmons when Sam was here. Just a good, solid, can score down low, good IQ. They've got good in the portal. Wells is playing at a high level. But they've got a good team. They handed it to us last year here at the end, and so it should be a really good game. Great crowd. Apple Cup's always great since I've been here.
3 things that you need to do to get stuff.
Gosh,
I don't want to say 3.
well, I think a big thing is their interior players are, last year they shot 18 threes a game, or last year they shot like 25 threes a game. This year they're averaging only like 18 attempts. They still got shooters, but they go inside. So a little bit different style. And then they play a zone defense for most of the game, a little bit of a match like what we used to do. And so we're really familiar with that. And so I think a big thing is you got to rebound against this team. I think it was Colorado, Utah. It was 18-2 on second chance points. Like, you're going to get them to miss, but they're Ruben, Chinyelu, and them are really good on the glass. They're big, they're active, they got good hands, and they play tough. They're a tough team. And so, every game in our league for now is a tough game. That's what makes this league a lot of fun this year. For the last year during this time, UCLA or Arizona is probably undefeated. They don't have maybe one loss. Now the top teams have 3, and you're two games away from being in second place. You know what I mean? Like there's a win here, a win there. It changed second places. 4 losses. And so a lot of great opportunities A lot of good basketball left. Some of the Cal's playing better. It's a top to bottom one of the best leagues since I've been here in terms of the parity within the league.